Hello, everyone, and welcome to Slamfire Radio. This is May 24th, 2018. I'm one of your hosts, Adriel.
And I'm one of your other hosts, Kelly.
And we have a special guest host on today, Dave from Canada Guns Talk Show. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Hi, I'm the placeholder.
The placeholder. You've been on this show before, though, right?
Once for the SIG, and I think I was here for something else.
Maybe.
Was it?
Yeah, you were here for when we were talking about the SIG dropping, but
yeah,
I think that.
Yeah, I was dropping some knowledge and dropping some SIGs.
Yes, you
were.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, funny enough, today we're talking about other guns that aren't SIGs. Huh. So that'll be cool. Yeah. Let's see here. Trevor couldn't make it out tonight. Now, Brian, I believe he was at the grocery store. He accidentally got some cat food and ate that instead of real food, and he got sick. So he won't be able to make it out today, unfortunately. But
I think he's dying.
Yeah, he did not sound good on Voxer when he was sending his voice messages over there. Oh. Yeah, that cat food got right into his larynx there, and yeah,
and he's doing that whole thing, Trish, call my mom.
Call my mommy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we get into what we did in guns? What we did in guns this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Center, Canada's premier firearms retailer. They've got the Ruger Precision Rimfire for $579 right now. It includes a 30 MOA rail if you want to shoot really, really far with your 22. I didn't know this, but it comes with an option to switch between a rimfire bolt throw or a regular rifle bolt throw. So you can actually choose to, instead of just pulling it back the 1 inch for a 22, you can actually choose to make it go a full 3 inches. So it's just like the Ruger Precision Rifle, and you don't have to change your training regimen. And then so you can shoot a bunch of 22 and shoot it at quote unquote long range, 300 meters of the 22 is pretty far. And then when you switch over to your Ruger Precision, you can still get the same bolt action and not accidentally short stroke your quote unquote real competition rifle, right? So
right.
There's a big push right now to do that kind of training now.
Yeah, well, they're Rick, who we had on the show before. He's running the CRPS.
Craps. Yes.
Craps. Yeah, that's how I remember it too.
But yeah, it's a lot of the guys that are going are using their Ruger Rimfires as training. So 22, a lot cheaper.
Way cheaper than match quality 308.
Yeah, and they're really getting into it. It's crazy how much people are getting into it. So they're putting the 20, 30 MOA rails on it.
Well, you think about it, you don't have to shoot very far. 300, 400 meters is pretty far for a 22. You're getting a whole bunch of drop in there, and you're getting a lot of those fundamentals of reading wind, reading distance, adjusting, all that kind of stuff.
I take back my earlier laughter. You probably need a 30 MOA rail to get the paper sight.
You do.
With a 22 at 300.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's what they're using it for is a training. Okay, $500 for a precision 22 is still pretty cheap compared to what's a precision centerfire rig going to cost you $1,500 somewhere around there.
That's where you start.
Yeah.
$1 every time you pull the trigger.
Yep.
That's if you roll your own ammo.
Yep. Whereas the 22 is 10 cents, 20 cents if you're getting the real fancy stuff every time you pull the trigger.
If you go the real fancy stuff, it's 50 cents. Yes. And it's crazy stuff. Hand rolled by European monks using powder from the far reaches of China.
It should be China. They first invented gunpowder, right? They should
be, right?
Yeah. That's where my mind went.
Yeah.
So all these Norinkas that people are using, they should be.
You know what? Maybe they can buy some of those. Did you guys ever catch some of the Norinco powder that Canada Ammo was bringing in? They ship those bad boys in bags.
I heard of it. I hadn't actually gotten any myself. I was thinking about.
I know they ship that in bags because I had a buddy of mine order that and some Chinese Norinco primers, and Canada Ammo was lovely enough to send them together in one box, and the primers got loose. So there was literally a box with loose primers and a bag of powder.
Just mix in some cases and some bullets, and maybe they'll make their own if you like put them in the tumbler.
Mm. They call those things a bomb.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, dear. There's
True.
a whole. Anyways.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dave, you're the guest host here tonight. Why don't you tell us what you've been up to in guns in the last couple weeks?
Well, let me put down my cucumber. What we've been up to, and by we I mean I, is I've been on an insane shopping spree. It's been a nothing but packages kind of thing going on for the last week. Luckily for me, I managed to, in a stroke of luck, order in the one handguard that is no longer being manufactured and can therefore no longer be provided by the U.S. distributor of CTC Supplies, which they failed to mention to them after 3 months of waiting on them to provide said handguard to CTC so they could bring it over the border. So I had quite a large order made for the purposes of building an SLR. And boy, did I not skip out on this one, except the trigger. I got a crap trigger in it, but I'll fix that at some point. Yes, I ordered some Rainier Arms parts, Rainier Arms barrel, Rainier Arms bowl, Rainier Arms gas block. I have an ALG EMR V2 handguard, which is right over here, and it is cool. Look at this bad boy. It's so long and slick. That's the barrel nut I popped out. But the real difference between this and the V1, which is what I wanted, is that this one's got a chunk of Picatinny on the top. I wanted a totally smooth handguard. That's what I wanted. But they couldn't bring it in because they're no longer making it, and they didn't tell that to CTC after 3 months. So that was kind of unfortunate. So as soon as I found that out, I told them, whatever, just send me the rest of the order that I had placed 3 months ago. That was all in-stock parts in the country that could have had that order 3 months ago. But whatever. I'm not bitter, clearly. And so I went to Arms East and got the handguard from Arms East, which is the distributor, the Canadian distributor for ALG. I don't know if you've ever seen quite this level of handiwork, but I have a deliciously painted A2 stock, courtesy of a buddy of mine from Canada Guns and I. This is Duracoat. We use some stencils, white base, and then we painted on the red. And it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy how this is going to look. It's going to be a long gun. It's going to be a very long gun. For those of you that are not familiar, the SLR is basically a non-restricted AR-15 pattern firearm, similar in an upper and lower capacity in terms of how it's disassembled. But other than that, that's where the similarities kind of end. Yes, you can populate it with AR-15 parts, but due to some fancy finagling design work, it kind of comes apart like a slide on a pistol. It's built on rails. I'm sure you guys have gone over that before. But yes, that SLR might be dropping sometime in June, even though the pre-order said that it was going to be March. But whatever, I'm not bitter about that. All those parts are going to be coming in to that SLR. That's the first package I got this week. The second package I got this week is Wapow! A very, very large Glock.
That's
For
nice.
size comparison, here's your standard Shadow 1. Here is your Glock 17L. Yeah, it's a bit of a long boy. For other reference, here is a 6-inch Smith & Wesson revolver. This thing has got the same barrel length, but a longer sight radius. The only reason that I picked this up is because it popped up in CGN, and I said, that's cool.
And the price.
And the price. It was a very, very good price. I'm happy to report that it is a Gen 2. See the lack of finger grooves? That is the primary difference I could tell between the Gen 1s and the Gen 2s. They always say that you can't improve on perfection, but they keep releasing generations, so I don't know what to say about that. No finger grooves. Only right hand mag release. does not take left-handed, I believe. It's got stock. Oh. Axe proof. Axe proof. Done.
Proved.
Proved
Yep.
it. It's got sights, target sights, adjustable rear target sights with their nice front dot, and
Adjustable?
It's got a big hole on it.
Is the rear sight adjustable?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's why I told you. It's like, why would I change that? That thing is cool. Yeah. Windage and elevation.
look at that.
Yeah. It does have a slightly lighter disconnector. Is it a disconnector? I don't remember. I can't remember. Connector.
The
Disconnector.
connector.
Yeah. It's got a slightly lighter connector from the factory than your regular Glock 17. I heard 4.5 instead of whatever the stock one is, 6, 8, whatever. And it came with a couple of mags. And what is that you called it, Adriel? A condom grip?
That rubber hoke thing that goes over
Yeah.
top.
Yeah, the rubber hoke grip, and I took that off. I do not have hands large enough to require that, and it's quite weird having such a light handgun. I'm not super into handguns yet, even though I have 4. But this ZZ is just nice and heavy. It's all steel, and this Glock just feels like, I don't know, like a
Plastic?
fake plastic. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that they really did not want this to be too heavy. After all, they made a giant hole on the slide.
Well, they have the slide mass has to be the same as the 17 and the 34, right? So the 17, we can talk about this afterwards though, because we got a special Glock main topic.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. I'm waiting on the package. Hopefully we can do a live unboxing of something truly bizarre that I don't think. Have you ever seen? You know what I'm getting, Adriel? Have you ever seen one of those?
Nope.
Nope.
What are
Yeah,
you getting?
You might have seen one. You might have seen one or two.
What?
I won't tell you. Not if it doesn't show up.
It's gonna be
All right, fine.
Yeah.
So
That's what I've been up to. And here's a question that I'm gonna start a flame war in your correspondence. Do you have to fire brand new Lapua brass to account for inaccuracies before you truly start to measure results? Because
So you're saying
I've been
fire form
told-
them, right?
I've been told by a couple of hardcore reloaders that you have to shoot it once with whatever, just a random load, and then you can start actually measuring results from the brand new, extremely expensive, $1 a pop Lapua 308 brass that I got for my teacup.
In my opinion, only if you're getting down to like the micro of reloading and getting the accuracy out of your rifle. You got to keep in mind you can go buy a box of Gold Medal Match off the shelf that is not fire formed to your rifle, and it'll probably shoot very accurately out of your rifle. So if you're getting down to fire forming brass and let's see what else you'd be doing, uniforming flash holes or outside turning the necks or something like that, that's when you're starting to really get those last few tenths of an inch in. What's that? And, well, seating depth, I would argue that seating depth is important. It's just like Gold Medal Match, like whatever powder load they use and seating depth they use works in most accurate rifles out there to like as a decent standard, right? So from I would be willing to bet that if you reload that stuff, you get the right seating depth, you're going to get accurate results. It's just that if you fire form it and then next size it afterwards, you're going to get even more consistency out.
Yeah. What I've been doing with that in particular is I have a Tikka T3 varmint, left-handed because of issues with my eyes being stupid. And it is a like 24-inch barrel with a 1 in 11 twist. And I've been feeding in some light stuff. I've been feeding it some Campros 147 grain bulk projectiles. That's right. I've been doing custom loads using the absolute cheapest projectiles. Throw the hate mail out. I really don't care. But I got it under an inch. I got absolute bulk bargain bin projectiles to group under an inch. Thankfully, Varget is, I don't know, God's gift to reloaders. It's not cheap, but does really good.
And temperature insensitive as well. That's the one thing I really like about Varget is because we have such wild swings in temperature here in Alberta. We could be shooting when it's like plus 30 or minus 30. So it's nice having something that's not super temperature sensitive.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in Victoria. But, you know, it's nice that it works in Alberta and the rest of Canada that actually experiences winter. Using 45 grains of Varget and bargain bin bullets and brass pickup PMC brass and CCI primers, I got it under an inch. So I'm happy. This is ammo that I'm rolling for well under $1 a round, and I'm getting way more precision than out of most bulk projectiles, with the exception on bulk ammunition of the Austrian Hurtenberger ammo, which, by the way, if you get the Burden primed, I got a story for you. Yeah, now that I know that the gun shoots, even though I expected it to, it's a freaking Tikka. I got some Sierra Matchkins and some Hornady EDLX, something like that. Some fancy bullets. And this is going to push the cost of the round over $1. But I'm expecting to finally get little Mickey Mouse shaped groups, you know, all three together in a little, you know, Mickey Mouse shape.
Do it again.
There you go. Yeah, I think that's it. Unless the package shows up, that's what I've been up to.
Awesome. Kelly, did you want to go next?
Sure. So this past weekend, I was in Smith Falls. We were doing a maple seed. Well, we're doing 2 maple seeds. So I wanted to say thank you to Earl Green from Phase Line Green Tactical for arranging that for us. We had a great time. Earl was there, so I got to meet him. I've never actually met him in person, but I got to this time, so it was great. He also gave me some patches and that too. It was really, really cool. Hung out with some guys who were JTF as well, so that was lovely. And what else? Oh, we got to hang out with a couple of our listeners as well, Andre and Mark. Mark actually brought his family, so it was really, really good to see them. Fiona was someone who, she was 10 last year when, I think she was 10 last year. 10 last year when I was shooting with her in Bancroft, and she brought her sisters with her this time. So it was the whole family was there. It was really, really awesome. And what else did I do? Oh, yesterday I actually went and saw, well, this weekend is a ladies event that's going to be happening in Napanee. So I had to go and see the organizer for that and give him some of the stuff from the CCFR. That's not really what it, anyways. But yeah, so saw him, and not really much more other than we're finalizing some stuff with the calendar and the charity shoot sponsorship, looking for donations for that as well. Been contacting people about that, and we've been having some great success with it. We have some new people that are coming on board with that as well. So it's been really, really good. Other than that, not much. So yeah. What about you, Adriel?
I went to the range 3 times since last week.
You suck. Sorry.
Starting with Thursday, where I hung up on you guys and like ran out the door like immediately afterwards and stopped the show. That I think that, what is that, like an ultimate hang up? When I hang up so hard it like kills the show?
Yeah, you won the hang up game.
That's mean, dude. That's mean.
It's supposed to be funny, and it was a little bit, and I felt a little bit bad though.
I felt bad because you had to edit everything after you got back, so I didn't feel all that bad about you hanging up.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, what else did I do? Okay, so I went to the range 3 times. The first time I went up to help out with skills and drills.
Yep.
Turns out my help wasn't really needed. The guys that were running it like had it well in hand. I shot my Nork 1911 and shot a whole bunch of like garbage ammo, some stuff that I'd been hanging on to that wasn't fantastic, and leftovers from other batches. I like to keep all my match ammo really consistent.
Yep.
So like the last of a batch, I'll just kind of like throw it to the side kind of a thing. So I ran a bunch of that through the Nork 1911. Ran fine. There's a couple things I noticed about it. It's it wouldn't strike off the primers for any of the ones that were using the Dominion Arms primers. So those are a little bit harder. They've got a harder cup, and let's see here. The stuff that the springs that Trevor had put into the pistol were just a little bit light for what they were doing. So it wasn't striking off absolutely everything out there, but it was very nice, and the trigger was quite light. Let's see here. I also shot the Glock 34 Sparkle Glock again, and
I love it.
Oh, profess my love for the Sparkle Glock. It's so nice. It eats everything. It works every time.
Yeah.
It's actually decently accurate, and that magwell that Trevor wants. Let's see here. I also took my AR out to troubleshoot. I've been having some issues with it, and I found out that the trigger was causing me issues. I was having problems with a couple of them that were just really weird. I had some short stroking issues where the bolt wasn't actually coming all the way back, which is really weird. And then I had some issues where the hammer was following the bolt. So something wrong with my trigger. I contacted the manufacturer, and they said, "Yep, send it in." So I've sent that off for them to take a look at. And that's I'm really glad that I figured that out time one when I was out at the range, because that let me swap my trigger and then take it out for time two. So time two was we had the open house at Chaz. I took out my Shadow 2 and shot it for the first time. I've had this
How was it?
For a month or two, and it was fantastic. They're really great shooting guns. They're extremely heavy, and they don't really move a lot when you shoot them. What's that?
Almost 3 pounds, right? Almost 3 pounds of goodness.
Oh yeah, with a loaded magazine in there, yeah, you're almost at 3 pounds, and the trigger is just fantastic. Nice. And yeah, it's just such a darling to shoot. Very nice. I still like the Glock 34 though, so I'll see. But the Shadow was very nice. What else did I do? I tested that AR-15 with my old 2-stage trigger, and it ran flawlessly. So it definitely was the issue. So I got to confirm that, which is nice. And I shot it out to 500 meters, which is kind of nice. So 200 and 300, no problem. Just like pounding the steel at 200 and 300 meters. 500 is a lot more difficult to hit with an AR-15, but possible and repeatable. So I have an etched reticle on my AR-15. I've got the 1:6. What is that? Primary arms with the ACSS, whatever reticle they have that's ballistic, and it's on. So I just have to put it at the 500 hash mark and pull the trigger, and it'll send those bullets out, and we'll be ringing the gong out there. So pretty cool. I also just because I had a little bit of time. Took the Glock 34 and shot it at 100 meters. I tested the T1000 flashers. The guys were actually having an issue with it where if you shot one flasher, it would cause the other ones to go off. So it was detecting the metal, the hit off the metal from the other ones, even when they're like pretty far apart.
I was just going to ask, how far apart are they? Like
some of them were like 50 meters apart. Like they were not close at all.
Detecting it.
Correct.
And now, how much are you paying for these?
I adjusted the sensitivity. So I changed the sensitivity on them.
Turned up all the way to 12 or 11?
Yeah, 11. Yeah, the sensitivity was turned all the way up to 11.
Yeah, it senses a fart of a bee.
Yeah, a bee fart. Yeah. So I turned the sensitivity to low sensitivity, and it worked fine. And so what I was doing was testing it at 100, shooting steel like right next to it, and that wouldn't trigger it. And even shooting it with a 9mm at 100 yards was setting it off. So success, working great. Yeah. So I was shooting at 100, and I'm like, oh man, I'm hitting this IPSC steel target at 100 meters quite often with this. I wonder if I can do it at 200. So I went over to the 200-meter range. I started shooting some steel with 200, and yeah, I was getting like 2-3 hits per magazine at 200. So I went to 300, and I wasn't getting 2 or 3 hits at 300. But I got one or two hits every 2 mags, basically. So I was getting a couple hits every
Were you shooting offhand or were you shooting from bench?
offhand.
Oh my god.
Yeah, offhand. It's just you don't think of it, right? Because we had we shot 200 and 300 meters last time at our 3-gun match, and there was a lot of guys with their ARs not hitting anything, and it's just kind of surprising taking a pistol out and like hitting like pretty reliably hitting at 200 with a handgun, a 9mm handgun, right? So it just goes to show slide your rifles in because a pistol can do it.
Yeah, I do that sometimes just for giggles. But I don't use a shadow. I use this guy because it's good enough sight radius for that.
Yeah.
I'm not capable of seeing. I'm holding up a
I was just gonna say
an 8 3/8 inch barreled Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum. And now I'm holding them up together between a 6-inch barrel and the 8-inch barrel. Yeah, there's a slight difference. I like interesting guns. By the way, the 6-inch barrel is it's a 22.
22.
Because of course it is.
Yeah. Now, what's the BC on a 357 bullet? Probably horrible. Like you don't have are you running round ones out there?
It's like a fridge. So imagine sending a fridge flying through the air.
Yeah, not very good BC.
No.
Not that a 9mm bullet has very good BC either. It's just like
at least the freaking nose is round. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, it's pause. You can shoot stuff, and it's hilarious shooting at 200 because you can hear ding.
Yep. My range has a couple of just crap steel plates laying on the side, and people just they're pockmarked to heck. They're probably not safe, but somebody probably hauled it out, and it's their backyard chunk of steel that they got from their buddy. They left it out there, so people are still shooting it. Yeah, slinging out, 124 grain 357 Magnum rounds all the way out there. Well, as after the concussion, you can hear the pink.
Yeah, because the time difference is there. Like shooting close stuff, sometimes you don't hear the pink because it's too close. But at 200, you can definitely hear it pretty distinctly from the shot.
Also, the 22 at 200, ding.
Yeah,
but
that's nice.
You have enough time to make a lunch in between, though.
Yeah, that's right.
Between
you shoot, put it down, take out your binoculars. Ding, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, it's really interesting doing those long shots with handguns. Anyways, and then the very next day I went back out to the range to record an orientation video. So we wanted to get like a video like showing like here's what you do, here's what you don't do, here's what the ranges have, here how you operate these different things, just because I don't know how much patience people have to like actually read this stuff and try to apply it. I think you need it like demonstrated for people. Like best case scenario, you do an in-person orientation with absolutely everyone. But who's got time for that these days? Do a video once, make a good video that says what you want to say in it. So one of the guys from the range and I went out and recorded that. And I brought my guns out to, show the things and to shoot as well. So I shot my AR at a 500 again and did a little bit more pistol shooting at 100. So
how many people did you have out, or did you? Sorry, so you did the video. Was there anybody doing the orientation or no?
It was just me and the guy shooting the video doing the orientation. So I'll be featured in that video. I
do want to make a note of something that you said. Who has time to do an orientation? My range is mandatory orientation for every member that signs up. Because there are no on-staff RSOs except head RSO, and we operate on a volunteer RSO basis. Hi, I'm a volunteer. And yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah, we're the same.
Yeah, we're the same.
Volunteer RSOs, but now we'll just do a video instead. Yeah,
that might be something I'll bring up.
Oh man, in person, like 1,700 members trying to do like an in-person thing, like all throughout the year.
Thankfully, it's just the first time you sign up, and then 5 years later, because they instituted that since there were people going, well, I took my orientation when 1974.
That could either be really good or really bad.
You know what? I don't want to, badmouth people, but sometimes it's not good. More often than not, a lot of the time, like usually.
I would say most of our older members who like go often are like pretty super safe. It's just the guys who come out like once a year and don't like.
I hate RSO during the freaking hunting season. Oh my god! I got a story for you. You'll laugh at this one, Andrew. Go on. Let's keep going.
Okay. Okay, the Slamfire Radio T-shirts. I have in my notes here that they've been stuck in customs since the 18th. I just checked like 5 minutes ago, and they've been processed. So they're on the way. They're in Vancouver, and they're on the way to my place. So hopefully I'll get them in the next week or here. So
where did you get them made? China?
The same place everyone gets them made, the studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, those should be here soon. They won't look as nice as these guys here, but you know, looking like something. I think that's it. I might buy some 10-round LAR mags, like 4 of those and like couple them just as like a backup to my Beowulfs kind of a thing. But
not might, you will.
What's that? I will.
Not might.
Okay, yes, I'm not might. I will. Yeah. Actually, I posted on the Chaz 3 Gun Facebook page like, hey, does anyone else want to get some mags while I'm at it? And I already got a couple guys.
Oh, so. Are you talking about those iron guns, 30-round, 10 shots?
Like that's one way of going is to go with the longer ones you can actually grab out of a pouch. I'm gonna go with the coupled, so the short little 10-rounders coupled at the base. I'm gonna get the flat base ones, and I'm gonna get that flat coupler so that they're basically like stick mags, 20-round stick mags in like that kind of a thing.
Oh,
right?
So not the ones that are angled a little bit.
I don't like the angled ones. I'd prefer to have something straight, just like sitting on the belt kind of a thing. Yeah, I want straight up.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you don't get the cool flick.
What's your manual arms when you do that? Do you like reach, but with the hand upside down, so that when you pull the mag, immediately you can flip it around instead of trying to flip it around backwards?
Yeah. You just grab them out like that. Press your button. Out, in and out. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's kind of a funny thing. So yeah.
It is a funny thing, and it's, you know, if you weren't in Canada, you would never do this. No one couples magazines at the base. It's ridiculous. From a yeah. But you know, we're in Canada, so this is what we're stuck with.
I wish we could have D60s. Those things are so cool.
Even just like 30 rounders or 20 rounders, just like something else. Like imagine, you know, if we had to run 5-round mags in 3-gun, it would be the worst. We'd have to run chest rigs to even make it worthwhile. It would be a total pain in the butt. Yeah. Anyways, that's I think that's all I've been up to. I think. I don't know. I went to the range a lot, so it's kind of hard to remember all those things.
Yeah. Whatever.
I did sporting clays 2 weeks ago. Have you guys done sporting clays before?
No, I can't say I have.
Kelly?
Yep.
Sporting clays is a lot of fun.
Tell us about it.
So much fun. This is a different discipline from the shotgun sports that I have the radio. Oh, well.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just keep going. A couple of different disciplines, and everyone's familiar with trap shooting.
Yep.
I'm sure people have heard of skeet.
Yep.
And sporting clays is almost like 5-stand and skeet got together, and
Had a baby.
trap was looking in the back rear mirror. Yeah, it's an amalgamation of everything. Yeah. Because like skeet, you have clays traveling all over in different directions, but it's not a set field. Instead, you have stands, like in 5-stand. But there isn't just 5 stands. In the event that I was at last week at the Victoria Fishing Game, there were 8 stands. There were 8 stations. And this is a little bit like trap doubles. There's usually pairs of clays. Now, there is different combinations. There can be a right-hand side clay thrower and a left-hand side clay thrower, referred to as A and B, depending on which one is on which side. So if, for example, at that particular stand, you have A report B, means that you're going to see a clay launch, and as soon as you shoot it, the report launches the second clay. A lot of the stands were A and B, done twice, then B report A 3 times, or A report B 3 times, B report A twice, or what you call true pairs, which is both clays go out at the same time. You would see a combination of all 3 of those combinations in the different stages, and the clays are all over, man. They're all over. And you have different size clays doing different things. You have clays going right and left, obviously. You have clays going away and clays going towards you. But thankfully, due to the enormous space of the facility and having 8 whole stages, we had stages out in the woods shooting into a ravine. And we had stages where there was a clay flying over the air, and below it, you had a rabbit.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
On the ground. Have you ever shot a rabbit, Clay, Adriel?
I mean, I've shot rabbits. Lots of those.
Yeah. Now, this is, I don't know to what extent simulates a real rabbit. I don't know. But they're really quick. They're just poof, flying right across. And what's beautiful about them is if they hit a bump, they jump. So if you're expecting it to be a straight line and you can just, put the bead on it and follow it and take a shot, you're going to miss. Because at some point, some of those clays are going to hit a bump and go flying in the air. And my absolute favorite stage did not contain a right, left, front, back, or rabbit. It contained 2 true pair straight up clays. Boop, straight up in the air. So what you had to do is they calibrated it so that one clay was black, one clay was orange, and one was going to go higher than the other. So you had to kill the lower clay first, because if you kill the top one, the first one was already coming down and was way down. So you would have to drag your shotgun way down, way quick, try and catch it. So you had to catch the short one on the way up and then follow through and catch the second one before it started falling. Because if you're trying to follow that and your barrel is obscuring where you're basically going to aim, it was a really tough shot once those clays coming down. This particular sporting clays is shot traditionally with an over-under or a semi. And I was shocked, and let me tell you, shocked to hear that my Remington 1100 with an improved cylinder was an ideal gun for sporting clays. They like open chokes. You don't need a full fixed choke. You don't need modified. You can do with an improved cylinder due to the fact of those close-up, quick-moving shots. And some of those clays do fly relatively quickly right up to you. I mean, nothing's going to hit you. You might get hit by a chunk of clay, maybe. But other than that, you're going to be taking shots that are out there. So you really got to know your shotgun's pattern, but also really up close. So you really have an advantage if you have an open choke. So, yeah, I was pretty stoked to have my 1100 actually be really good at it. And there were 2 shoots, 70 clays in the morning and 70 clays in the afternoon. So that was 140 shots that day. And let me tell you, whew, it was so good, so good. The first in the morning, I got 43 out of 70. And in the afternoon, I got 49 out of 70. So I did see some improvement. And they moved the stages around from the morning to the afternoon. So they changed things up.
Awesome.
Try your sporting clays. Look it up. Your trap feels guaranteed to have that.
If they set it up at the range. I'm so lazy. It's like, it's got to be at my home range. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, the people there were like, oh, are you going to go up to the Cowichan Valley one? I don't know. It's like an hour and a half drive.
So far, an hour and a half. It's like, not going to do it.
I thought about it, but just the gas alone.
That's a long drive,
An hour. It's 45 minutes for me to get to my range, and I drove there and back.
Yeah.
6 times? 6 times.
Yeah, but you get a cheap Alberta gas, or whatever.
Yeah, that cheap Alberta gas. Should be cheaper now that our government's in the oil industry buying up pipelines, right?
Pipeline train. Woo-hoo.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to upcoming events here. So the first one, I'll just go through some of the 3-gun ones here. PFI Canada is going to be running their Vancouver Island 3-gun nation match on June 2nd. That'll be at the Campbell River Gun Club. Crumlin will be running their 2018 multi-gun match on June the 3rd. That'll be at the Crumlin Sportsmen's Association. BTSA will be running their action shooting league Monday nights. Mighty Peace 3-gun has a match on June 9th. That'll be at the North Peace Rod and Gun Club. Lakeland 3-gun will be having a match on June 9th. The Prince Albert Pistol and Rifle Club in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan will be running one on June the 9th. Northwest 3-gun will be running a match on June 10th at the Smithers Rod and Gun Club. CDTSA will be running their 3-gun match at the Milo range June 10th. That's an excellent range, so if you get a chance, definitely head out there. BTSA will be running their action shooting Monday night event on June 11th. And then the Chaz 3-gun Battle of Alberta 2-day match will be on June 16th and 17th. That's our bigger 2-day event that we're going to be having for charity. And Chaz just recently announced that they're going to be matching our so we're charging an $80 fee for that match, and we're trying to put as much of it as possible towards the Stollery. And our club has announced they're going to match whatever we donate to the Stollery, so it'll be
that's nice.
doubled up from that. Yeah, it is nice. So we should be able to put together like a really meaty donation to the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation.
Nice.
Mighty Peace will be running a 3-gun event on June 23rd at the Wapiti Shooters Club in Grand Prairie. Rock Cut will be having their outlaw shoot at the Rock Cut on June 23rd. Lethbridge 3-gun will be running their 3-gun Nation event on June 24th. Lambton Sportsman 3-gun will be in Wilkesport, Ontario, at the Lambton Sportsman's Club on June 24th. And Lakeland 3-gun will be having their 3-gun team match on June 30th. Oh, I got to get out to that one. Got to do that team match thing. I got to try that. And that's all of the matches for June coming up here.
Oh, that's a lot.
And they're mostly in Western Canada, but there's a couple in Ontario there.
Yeah,
So if you're in Ontario, there's a couple of different options. And I think I checked on Practice Score, and it didn't even look like they weren't all totally booked up. So you could still get registered to some of those. Yeah. Our 2-day match is booked and has been booked for weeks out now. So it's definitely busy out here. Kelly, do you have anything on Maple Seed?
Yeah, so we do have a couple of events that still have spots in it. Woodview, Ontario. There's only a couple left in that. That one, I'm happy to report it's almost sold out, but there is still a couple of spots available. Breadalbane PEI, get in there as well. Again, it's only about halfway sold out, so we'd like to see more people attend that. Woodstock, New Brunswick in July, also on, July 13th. We have 2 spots left on the line, so if you're interested, go online and register in Mission, BC and Courtenay, BC. We have some Alberta and Saskatchewan and Manitoba events that are going to be posted soon, so keep an eye out for those as well. You can go to Maple Seed Rifleman to check out the events, but also sign up for notifications as well, so when new events are posted, you'll get notification too. So just go there, have a look.
I assume you'll just text me or something like that when some ones around me open up.
You mean like Chaz?
Yeah, like those.
Yeah. That one. We'll talk later. That one's booked.
That one's booked.
No, that one is booked. So yeah.
I want to be on that one.
Yeah.
How many you had a 22? I don't have an appropriate 22 unless I use my bolt action. How many people are getting their badge with a bolt action?
The weird thing is more and more people, I don't know, Canadians are using bolt actions. They're using weird guns. So we see about 50% of the people that attend shoots bring bolt actions. Of those people, riflemen, it's about, I'd say about 30% that are getting it with a bolt action.
I really want my package to show up. Dang.
So you can show what you're going to shoot your Maple Seed with.
I wish. I think did you say that the one in Vancouver Island is up in Mission?
Yeah, so there's a couple that are around you. So
yeah, it's a little far from me.
Yeah, there's Mission, Courtenay. Where else? We're about 4 places in BC. 2 on the island. So.
Up the island, not low island.
No, upper. Yeah. Again,
It's an island. Come on, how big can
yeah,
it be?
it's an island.
You
Come
know
on.
what? I had that exact same thought when I moved here. Then I rented a car with the wife, then girlfriend, and we drove around. And we got like our fifth of the way up, and we're like, we're
Yeah,
not
so far.
gonna make it, man. We gotta turn around.
Hey, we're coming all the way from freaking Ontario.
Yeah, you flew in.
Yeah, Rick's
They
gonna
they
fly.
drove.
But
last
we're
year. They
we're
drove
driving.
across the country.
Yeah,
last year.
I'm yeah, the Ontario, sorry, the Alberta and Saskatchewan, Manitoba. We're driving out for it.
Well, you just put the cruise control and stick something in the wheels so nothing move, and you just drive straight through Saskatchewan. There's nothing to see anyways.
That's true.
Indeed.
But anyways, so I'm all curious now about what's coming in the mail.
I
Yeah.
really want to show up. Like the mailman usually shows up before 4, and it's gonna be 4 soon here. I might just go down and knock on this car because I saw the van parked out front, so I don't know what he's doing, messing around.
Say, hey, give me my gun.
Do it. Well, he delivered the Glock yesterday, and he delivered the rest of the SLR on Tuesday. So
He's going, this guy, you're paying for his vacation, right? Because he's all the work that he's putting in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's keep
All
going
right.
here.
at least
the
I
next
haven't
one-
ordered any projectiles lately, because I remember I made a couple of orders for Campro, and it was like 1,000.
He would hate you.
1,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a 50-pound box that's about the size of a football.
Just
Yeah.
dense lead.
What is this? Fishing weights?
Oh, I can't even hide it. So I've gotten some ammo sent to work, and like, Adriel, your ammo's here. It's like, yeah, it's 100 pounds. It's it's a bunch of ammo. There's no excuses. No one buys 100 pounds of fishing weights. At least, well, unless I was like a super avid fisherman, right?
You know what you need to do? You need to say that you're a scuba diver.
I'm a scuba diver. Just always ordering scuba stuff.
And you put on weight, and so you're floatier.
Yes.
There we go.
You know.
All right, next event here. The 2018 Meaford Long Range Steel Challenge, sponsored by Cadex Defense, is taking place on September 7th to 9th. Spots are filling fast. For more information and to register, Google it or go on
Yep.
Facebook and look for
Yeah.
it, because it's easy enough to find.
And he's looking for RSO still, so go and do that. And you get cool prizes too if you become an RSO. So
Sweet.
just saying.
Yeah, we're actually getting some prizes for our 2-day match as well. We didn't think we were gonna like do a prize table. We thought we're just do a big 2-day match kind of a thing, but we're putting together a prize table for that as well. It's going pretty well.
Right.
Why don't we head on to the news here? So the first one is Wolverine is testifying on C-71 today, and actually, I don't know if did you guys talk last week about the CCFR testifying on it?
Yeah, we did a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, so they got up there and talked about it, and now Wolverine's one of the retailers that was asked to get up there and testify on the impact of C-71. So they're actually like pretty impacted by it, because they'll have to put in whatever Hokomimi tracking system we got to put in place for this, right? So
10 years. Is it 10? Yeah, 10 years. They'll have to track it for.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like you can just like jam it in like wherever, but it's still, that's still going to take some time. I mean, like the records, you could just put them in a binder and just like
Yeah,
store.
who's gonna pay for the binder and the paper
Yeah.
and the ink?
Yeah. No, we'll all pay for it, because they have to
Exactly.
make
We
it
all
up
pay
somewhere.
For what? Literally, why?
Yeah. So that was had happened this morning. So that went up. Let's see here. On the Hill speaking on behalf of Canadian gun owners regarding meeting number 117 SECU Standing Committee on Public Safety and National Security. So they got up and testified about that.
Yeah.
The SLR, I think I saw a post on Facebook that it would be delayed until the end of June-ish. There was an issue with the finish on the lowers, and
No.
I don't know if you
Are you
saw that or
kidding me?
not yet,
I think
Dave.
you've,
But
yeah,
You're
yeah,
not serious. Link that. Throw it on the YouTube chat too. 'Cause I know there's like 4 other people that just started screaming at their computers.
Well, like fair enough. It's let's see. Are you a member of the Maccabee Builders Group?
No.
Okay, well that's where you got to go. That's where someone had actually called in and got like the straight goods from the company, and I'll
All
chuck
the
that
updates
onto
are
the.
done through True North Arms, which is the pre-order site that I got.
Yeah.
That I got lures from.
They should
Yeah.
be posting something soon because it is the beginning of March. Or sorry,
May.
March. May. It's
Yeah,
not.
go down and look at the video update from Stephen Boisson. Oh my God, I'm the worst French person
Okay.
in the history of Canada.
Adriel Michaud.
Yeah.
It's Stephen. Yeah, it's
I
Boisson.
can't see anything unless I join the group, and I don't do Facebook. I literally the only time that it did something on Facebook in the last 5 months is when I changed my relationship status from single to married in December.
Okay. Well, your SLR is going to be late, so there. I'll just save.
Ugh!
This stuff happens when you're developing a product, right? Like you run into
it does. Except they said that the thing was going to be delivered in freaking March. So, bought it in November. Gonna deliver it on March. Oh wait, it's June. Oh wait, it's July.
Well, I mean, like I expect something of the same with the WK180. I mean, it's like new product getting designed and getting some of the stuff straightened out. It's just a question of like how many delays there are and if they're excessive or not.
The one delay that I've had, that I've seen from WK. Wait.
Okay.
Never mind.
Okay.
I thought it was the door knock. Was that their barrels? They bought their barrels from a producer manufacturer, and then the manufacturer actually outsourced the barrel making to somebody else.
Yeah.
And when Wolverine went to check it out, they realized that the job was crap and that they weren't going to stand for that. So they went and they got somebody else entirely to make the barrels for them.
Yeah, I don't know if that was Wolverine or Kodiak that would have done that part, but yeah. I mean, this stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
All
Did
part
you
of
pull
the
it back
fun
far
of,
enough?
I pulled it back far enough. I'm pushing it in with a pair of scissors
You
here.
know what works really well? A magazine.
I don't have a magazine here. I know. There, see?
There you go.
Yeah. For you listeners out there, I'm just disassembling my Shadow 2 because I didn't since the weekend, and I fired a whole ton of ammo through it. I found out this barrel does not like the reloads that I've done because my bullets are too far out, and they're already engaging with the rifling that's in this barrel. So this barrel has the rifling is quite a bit further back than it is on the Glock match barrel.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Glock is, built to take anything.
Yeah. Whereas this
nice and sloppy.
just the way I like it.
Okay.
Let's see here. Who wants to take the next piece? Who wants to talk about the NDP drone
really
striking us?
Yeah, nobody really wants to talk about the NDP and the drone strikes. But
Can we kill gun owners with drones? Oh my god!
Yeah, welcome to Ontario. Thank you.
When I saw that, I legitimately thought that was a really bad Photoshop job. Nobody says that, and then I remember, oh wait, the Liberals exist.
Yeah, they do. Liberals, that was NDP, man.
Well, is that I can never keep it straight. Are they
it was
more or less
candidate?
It was a candidate for, I think it's Etobicoke. She apologized for saying it, kind of. It was after one of the last shootings down in the U.S., and she was referencing radical gun owners, and said basically that she'd be okay if a drone came and basically murdered all of the radical gun owners. So
I didn't mean it, guys. Okay, it's so emotional. Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
So she doesn't condone killing anybody, but she is okay with drone strikes and killing people who, anyways.
Whatever. It's all garbage.
Whatever.
Odd piles of garbage.
Yeah, I don't know how what kind of vetting they put behind a candidate. Can you just it might be the case that you can just become a candidate and not be vetted and be like, I'm going in for the NDP, and they don't like check you out to make sure that you're sane or anything like that. I think that's what's likely because
have you seen some of the stuff that they've said? They don't really vet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've put in some like NDP's grown really a lot, and like Alberta.
Yeah.
We had a lot of the people here who won, who weren't expected to win, and it's like these people are not ready to be politicians. But you know, they're just like they got more success than they knew what to do with. So
yeah,
it's going to happen. So I don't know if this is man. I'm defending the NDP. I don't think that's a reflection of the NDP. I think this is a reflection of the people who want to run and be a candidate for the NDP.
Yeah.
I really don't want to defend the NDP, but I'm like traditionally not a conservative, and I think like this is one of those things where they've just got like some weirdos there, some extremists, and all the parties have.
Let's take a moment. Let's rinse our palates. Let's just appreciate how pretty these grips are.
Yeah, they are pretty.
Oh, that's much better. You couldn't get
for those of you,
one, though, you couldn't get an NDP orange.
Visually limited. I'm holding out some nice thin aluminum grips on my nice little heavy CZ Shadow 1. And they're the white grips for those of you that want to build a truly delectable mental image.
I feel like I need to go get my shadow.
Do it.
What about blue? What about blue?
Yeah, I like the blue.
If they had green ones, I would buy them. Green's my favorite color.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Shooter's Choice is going to have an open house June 16th. They're actually going to try to get some different politicians out to this one, which would be really interesting. So if you want to head over to that, sorry, I should have put this in the events area, but for whatever reason, I put it in news. June 16th, 2018, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Let's see here. Who wants to talk about this first gun one?
Ruger American that uses AR mags?
Yeah, how did I miss this? So I didn't know that. So they have a Ruger Predator, and it takes AR mags. So you can run these, like our 10-round LAR mags in a Ruger American Predator. Did you guys know about this?
No,
I didn't know about this. So you can get. So they're selling kind of a package. This is from Joe Brook Firearms. They're selling a Ruger American Predator with a Nikon P Series 39x40, which is kind of like a bargain scope.
Yeah,
and
all the packaged rifle scopes.
Yeah, it's not.
No, it works.
It's fine. And $1,000, $1,000 with free shipping, and it takes AR mags. This has got kind of a cool little gun.
Yeah.
Hey, threaded. You can put a big can on it.
Well, in Canada,
no,
put a brake on it or a flash hider.
That's what I meant. That's totally what I meant.
Yeah.
Cans for us. That would be too much fun. What a can on that? Yeah, you could like take it out to a rock pit and shoot rocks and just
imagine making some really dumb 90 grain 223 loads that are traveling at, I don't know, 1,100 feet per second, just plinking loads. It's basically a very, very large 22 long rifle. I actually, one of the things that I like to joke about is I call 223 Remington, I call it 22 Super Duper Magnum.
Super Duper?
Super Duper.
Okay. Is that the technical term? Super
No,
Duper?
it's the Grover term.
Cool. Anyways, and I'm seeing on the side chat here that the Rimfire podcast is mentioning that the 6.5 Grendel Ruger American uses AR mags as well. So very interesting.
Ken.
Yes, that's Ken.
Yeah, Ken Kowalski.
Yeah. Now 6.5 Grendel, I would use if it was an AR in an AR. I'm not sure I would use it if it was in a bolt gun because I feel like in a bolt gun there's just like more options. But
well, if we're to go by the time-honored tradition of what else do you need other than a 30-30 or a 308?
30-30. Or a 30-06.
Or a sportedized trio tree.
Trio tree.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's out there. True North Arms is bringing in some Nork ARs for pretty cheap. They're bringing in the 10.5s and the 14.5s, and I think this is easily the cheapest 10-inch rifle you can get. So you can get one for $657 for a Norinco M4.
Iron Guns had a Smith & Wesson with the either a 10 or a 12-inch barrel. They had it for $6.99, and that was about 2 months ago because I know my buddy picked up one.
Oh, that's a better deal.
Yeah. It was I think it was an M&P Sport with the short little barrel and the MacBook furniture and a compensator.
Yeah.
Or no, it was a linear comp, not a compensator, a linear comp.
Those linear compensators aren't worth too much. Yeah, they have the 10-inch and they also have a 14.5-inch. So if you wanted to get like an M4 or something like that.
For the listeners' information, those ones are mostly to spec. I've heard that you can swap out a bunch of stuff, but their handguards, the delta ring around the barrel is kind of messed up, and they don't like to take mil spec. They have their own little thing.
It's a little bit tight. You can just Dremel them in, and it'll work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or replace the barrel that's made out of Chinesium.
Or just buy an American AR. Like
when
the American ARs were like a lot more expensive, or we couldn't get them here because there was such a shortage on ARs and AR parts. Like the Norinco rifles were really good, but it really depends here. Now, it depends if you get them on sale or not, because I think right now Iron Guns, like most of their rifles, are a little bit more expensive, and they're in US dollars, so you got to take that into account. But they do have some really good sales sometimes.
Oh, but think about this. Brownies is now making those retro ARs. So even those people that were like, oh, you can't buy an A2 stocked looking carry handle AR for less than $1,200 for an old school one. It's like, well, you could buy a Norinco. Not anymore. Now you can just get one of those brownies ones. Yeah.
And I'd like, Brownells would be nice. Cool. This next one was weird for me. Okay, so there's a company here in Canada that's making targets out of titanium carbide. Did you guys take a look at this one?
Yeah.
Link.
I had to look around, and I found that titanium carbide is used in wear plates, which if you're in like heavy automotive or something like that, that'll be what you put on like a grater blade or something like that.
Is that cheaper or more expensive than the AR-500?
I don't know, and I don't know like how many times you can shoot it or any of that other kind of stuff. I have a plate of Tri-May, which is like a very very hard wear surface on the front that's from a grater blade that I've shot, and can confirm it's practically bulletproof, but the back of it is not. I am not sure about the titanium carbide. The maker here is saying that this is like loud and reactive, I guess because it's lightweight or something like that. The hanger system that they're using is quite interesting as well. It's a little bit more free floating, so it might ring a little bit more just because there's it's not hanging by a chain or anything like that. It's just kind of sitting on a hook. So
that's weird.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Why is it in the middle of the chest?
Oh,
must be balanced. Never mind.
Yeah, but that's that. Inside Arms is making those, and the prices aren't too bad. I want to see what they hold up like, because
that's not worse than AR-500.
No, the price is about the same as what you'd pay for AR-500. So
good AR-500, not your buddy's backyard operation 500.
Yeah. Oh, very interesting. So I'm curious.
Prices are like Canadian round is $59.99, right? Quarter inch.
Yeah. So I mean, it seems about right. I wouldn't get the quarter-inch stuff because that'll likely start bending pretty quick. Hey, I found something out. You guys run AR-500 targets, right? You know how they start to they cup? They like as you start hitting them, they'll start like bending and cupping over. I found out.
But sure.
Yeah, so that's what AR-500 will do. You won't. It won't like take much damage to the steel itself, but it'll start slowly bending after like thousands of rounds. I was reading on MGN targets, you're actually supposed to turn those around and use the other side and then get it flat again. So that's actually something you're supposed to do. And I'm gonna try that out.
I guess I've been inadvertently doing that since I usually paint both sides of my target with the orange flasher flagging paint. Your bargain bin Walmart special rattle can job, and then I just shoot the one side, and then once all the paint's worn off, I shoot the other side because I also covered it in paint.
Yeah, and that other side might be a lot nicer. I was actually asking one of the guys at the range because our targets are starting to really bend the club steel. So you're mentioning that you had like some mild steel that someone had left out at your club. Our club provides some pretty decent AR500 targets for just general members to use, and they're starting to bend over. And I was like, I wonder, should we flip them to the other side? And I got my answer. Yes, you're supposed to flip them to the other side. That'll give you some more life out of the targets. So just something I learned just recently here. Who wants to take the next one here? The next one is on the how do you say it? Matiba Unica 6.
I say
Matiba.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to talk about those?
Italian. Mateba. Maybe. Yeah. I said, who is bringing them in? Yeah, put the article up.
Is bringing those in, and yeah, they're a little bit pricey, but they are like Chiappa is making them now. Chiappa is making a version of this, but it's those are quite a bit more inexpensive. These are the yes, the Rhino is a Unica 6.
No.
You don't think it's the same design?
Well, let me break down why not. The Mateba, the truly fancy part about them is that it's a semi-automatic revolver.
Yeah, the Chiappa doesn't.
There is a slide upper situation with a lower, and when you shoot it, the entire upper assembly recoils and turns the cylinder for you, giving you a crisp single action trigger every single time without actually having to actuate the hammer, and without a double action pull, even though it's capable of double action and single action. The claim of fame of the Rhino is simply having that low bore axis because the barrel is on the 6 o'clock cylinder, not the 12 o'clock cylinder.
Correct.
That is shared by the Mateba, but the Mateba is, I don't know.
That and so much more.
Some is it, what's the expression? Crack pipe dream? Pipe dream?
Pipe dream.
Pipe dream. Sorry, we were talking about Doc 4 earlier.
Yeah. Anyways, Tactical Imports is bringing some of those in.
Sweet.
You guys gonna buy one?
No.
Not gonna lie, I thought about it, then I realized, oh no, what am I thinking about?
Okay, why wouldn't you buy one?
I already got my enormous revolver fill.
But this is both. This is both semi-automatic and a revolver.
This is kind of like a semi-automatic, and I already have the revolver part filled, so I'm good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's $3,000, but they are pretty neat and like super unique design to them. So if you want to buy a super weird revolver, go check out Tactical Imports.
Yeah, I don't know. For those of you considering a Chiappa Rhino, keep in mind that revolvers have been designed that way for a very long time, so they've worked out a lot of the kinks. To then flip it around and try to figure out how you're going to make the workings work upside down leads to a lot of complexity in the mechanism, which leads to what I have heard. And again, this is just internet hearsay from a guy with a really funny collection of guns, that they go out of timing really easily. So, you know, you don't want to be shearing lead with your fancy underbarrel revolver, but you know, it might happen to you.
3,000 in.
No, he was talking about the Rhinos.
Oh, Rhino. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine it's a risk with these ones too here, but maybe less so because it's.
Well, for $3,000, I certainly hope not.
Yeah. Yep. Anyways, that's cool. I didn't even know that they were making those anymore, and I guess they had stopped for a long time. So it's kind of neat that such a unique firearms is coming back out. So why don't we actually, the last one here, pre-ordered RDBs are starting to get into the hands of consumers. So those are starting to show up, and we're starting to see those on CGN. Different people are getting the and I saw someone was saying like, hey, there's a 20-inch barrel version. That's probably the version we're going to get. And some other people are saying, no, we're going to get a special Canadian version. That's going to be an 18.6. And it's the 20. It's the 20-inch version. Yeah. So
lol, Caltech.
What's the difference? An inch and a half? Who cares? It's a bullpup. But
my
anyways,
bullet velocity.
Yeah, just now it's a DMR, right? That's what you want your bullpup to be, is a DMR. Why don't we get on to our main topic? Glocks. Everyone got their Glock?
Mine.
The finger guns is good. Okay, so what I thought would be interesting, we've all got Glocks. Dave, you got the meme Glock there, so that's definitely one that we got to talk about. But we've talked briefly about some of the different Glocks out there. And I didn't even know myself, so I thought I'd do a little bit of research on some of the different Glocks that were out there, just the different model numbers. Okay, original one, Glock 17. Named Glock 17 because?
It was the 17th design.
I thought it was the number of rounds it would hold in the magazine.
Nope. It was the 17th design. Gaston Glock made 17 designs and settled on the 17th design as the one that he would like to make into an actual production.
So it's the WD-40 of design numbering then.
Yes.
Okay. Well, if
quite the comparison.
Yeah, if that doesn't make any sense to you, none of the other model numbers will, because they don't. They all kind of do the same thing. Okay, I'm gonna rip through the model numbers here just so we can talk a little bit about them. The Glock 17C for compensated, 17M. We'll talk about that in a little bit. 17L for long boy, and well, yeah, one of those guys there. I'll talk about the 9mm Glocks first. Glock 18 is select fire. You don't see a lot of those out there. Glock 19 compact. Glock 26 subcompact. So the compact ones are quite a bit smaller, and then the subcompact ones are real tiny.
Well, I wouldn't say quite a bit, but they're smaller.
They're smaller. Yeah, they're smaller. The Glock 34, I've got this glitter Glock is a Glock 34, was the competition model. It's not as long as the 17L. The 17L is actually longer than the 34, but the 34 is like the competition model that they're going to go out there with. There's the Glock 43, which is a slim single stack. So I believe that MMP came out with the Shield, which is a single stack version of their MMP models that kind of precipitated some of these other ones. And then finally, the last 9mm Glock is their 46 compact with rotating barrel rather than a traditional short recoil kind of a deal. So that's their 9mm. As for their 40 Smith & Wesson, they have the Glock 22, which is, I'll maybe lay out a couple of things here. They have full-size ones, which are the size of the Glock 17. They have compacts, they have longs, and they have subcompacts. So for the 40 Smith & Wesson, the Model 22 is a full-size. The Model 23 is a compact, which is the same size as the Glock 19. They have the Glock 24, which is their long boy. That's the same length as the Glock 17L. They have a Glock 27 subcompact and a 35, which is their competition model, same size as the Glock 34. 10mm, they have the Glock 20, which is same size as the Glock 17. 29 subcompact, and the 40 long slide, which is the same size as the Glock 17 L.
Right.
45 ACP, they have the 21, which is regular, 30, which is subcompact, 36, which is a slim subcompact, and a 41, which is a competition model. They also have 380. Within 380, they have a 25. That's a compact, but it's a blowback operation, which is different than all their other stuff. They have the Glock 28, which is a subcompact, also blowback. And they have a 42, which is a locked breech, slimline, which means that it's single stack mag. That's the smallest Glock you can buy. In 357, they have the Glock 31, which is full size, 32, which is compact, 33, which is subcompact. Hey, numbers that make sense finally. And in the Glock 45, Glock, what's their gap? Glock automatic pistol. It's their ACP that they made small. Yeah, the gap 45 gap. Which please don't buy one because what's the point? They have the 37 full size, 38 compact, and 39 subcompact. Woo!
That's a lot of Tupperware.
That's a lot of plastic. Yeah. And you know, like, they could have made things so much easier with these model numbers instead of doing the nonsense that they did.
You cannot hope to comprehend perfection, Adriel.
There's car models that make more sense than the Glock numbering scheme that they've got out there.
Wait a second, sir. You forgot about one model. The Glock 7. You can't even buy them.
Oh, yeah.
They cost more than you make in a year. They're made out of ceramic and are undetectable by airport security scanners.
And featured in such popular movies as there's the Glock 7. So those are the models. Now the other thing to take into consideration with Glocks is that there's the generations as well. There's Gen 1, 2, 3, 4, M, and Gen 5. They had the Gen 2 and Gen 3s for the longest time. And then they went to Gen 4. Gen 4's had a different recoil spring setup as well as a couple of other things, back straps and that kind of thing. Kelly, which version is your is your Glock 17?
Gen 4.
Gen 4?
Yep.
Have you got a stainless steel recoil spring for yours yet?
No.
Brownells sells this sweet little stainless steel recoil spring. So with the Gen 4s, they have this spring in a spring kind of a setup, and Brownells and Lone Wolf also sells a stainless steel one, which is just a little bit nicer than the polymer one, but a pretty cheap upgrade to them if you want to get something like that. The other option is to go. A lot of competition shooters end up using the Gen 3 recoil spring because you can change the spring out. This spring is somewhat difficult changing out weights, whereas the other style you can change out. Actually, this Glock uses them. So this is a captured version, but this is like a single spring. If I wanted to, I could change this spring out very easily. The other option is to just not capture it, and then you can change out springs really easily. Which is great for competition shooters. Dave, what generation is your Glock?
It is a Gen 2, no finger grooves.
Yep.
Ooh. So they went to finger grooves for Gen 3 and Gen 4, and then by Gen 5, they're like, actually, that wasn't a good idea. Let's just do that.
Those are dumb. I'm gonna forget about it.
What kind of grip pattern is on yours? Does it use like tiny little pyramids with like a flat top?
Nope, this just looks like reptile skin.
Pebble version.
Oh my God, lizards.
Dave, you're great.
Lizards. Yeah, there's a couple of different differences between the different generations. Yeah, the other thing that's kind of interesting, and has always been a problem with the Glocks up until Gen 5 was the magwell on them just sucks. There isn't a magwell. It's very, very flat and very, very catchy.
Yeah.
You got the same thing on yours?
Yeah. So you have one with the flared magwell, though, right?
Well, that's a magwell I put on the Glock.
Exactly.
Though. Yeah, and it is awesome. Look at that. You can't miss this thing, and there's no catchy straight edges on there anymore. So that's always going to be the ultimate way to do this for a competition gun, right? Because anytime you have like a carry gun or something that's like kind of got to be concealed, you put like a huge flared magwell on that thing. Whereas I don't care about concealability because we're in Canada, so we can run these like massive magwells on these things, and they're so much easier.
I plan to get a shoulder holster for this bad boy.
You'll need one because the barrel's so long. You gotta put it somewhere where that length goes somewhere.
It's basically a Thompson center contender, basically.
Yeah. Kelly, why did you buy a Glock?
Because I didn't like the gun I had before that, and the Glock was a good price.
What was the gun you had before that?
I had the PX4.
Okay, yeah, that's a bit of an odder pistol. So
The Beretta. Well, originally I got it because I was thinking about transferring over to the CBSA, but yeah, I'm sticking with what I'm doing. And Glocks work, right?
So you bought it. You bought it because of the reliability and the
yeah. So reliability. Yeah. Well, there's a story behind this. Boyfriend discount. You know, that whole thing. He didn't like his Glock, and so I did. So I got the Glock.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I wish I had a boyfriend discount.
Yeah. So I liked it. He doesn't. So I got it. I do like it. But yeah.
What don't you like about your Glock?
Don't really like the trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're known for having a pretty good striker fired trigger for a striker fired pistol, but not fantastic.
Dave, why are you laughing?
Because I went through the same thought process, Kelly. I had a SIG P320, the one that I kept dropping on the show.
Yes.
That one's supposed to have a great trigger, and yeah, it's all right, but it was way too flippy. And then I made the mistake of really thinking about things, about what I really liked about my revolvers, and that is the sweet single action. Oh, baby. Yeah. So that's it.
And that's why you have your CZ.
Yep, because it's ever so lovely and heavy. Doesn't move. It reminds me of the Big Iron. Fun.
Sweet. Let's see here. Why did I buy my Glocks?
Yeah. Why did you buy it? What do you like about it? What don't you like about him?
What do I like? Okay, so I had the F&S before, which was fine.
Okay.
Didn't mind that guy whatsoever. But I could not upgrade anything on it. Like how it came is like, hope you like that. And the one thing I didn't like about my my F&S was the trigger. The trigger was heavy, long, and there was just like no possibility of upgrading it. And I couldn't upgrade the magwell, even though the magwell is really nice. And I could have upgraded the sights, but that was basically it. So like the aftermarket was not there. So I found a Glock 34 for a pretty good price, and it already had like upgraded sights on it, and I thought I'd upgrade more on it and see what kind of what I could do with it. For 3-gun, I like that there's no safety on it, so I can dump this thing hot into a proper grounding receptacle, boom, and no safety on there, and I'm good to go. So that's one thing I like about the Glock compared with the Shadow, for example. It's consistent, it's very reliable, and the trigger's the same every time you pull it. So unlike with the Shadow, where in IPSC you gotta pull the hammer down, and now your first pull is that really long double action. In the Glock, you're doing double action as well, but it's always the same trigger pull no matter what. You just have to keep going on it, kind of a thing. So there's some definite advantages to running a tricked out Glock in 3-gun rather than the competition ready Shadow 2. Now, if I were to shoot IPSC today, and if my range gets IPSC, and they're talking about something like that. So if they were to get IPSC, would I run like a Glock 17 or would I run a Shadow 2? Shadow 2, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a better gamer gun. It's like the whole idea with production in IPSC is that it's supposed to be like a gun that a cop or someone in the army would carry. No one's carrying this, but it qualifies for production because it's a DASA gun, and therefore it's good to go in it. So I would probably run this guy. Actually, one of the other things that one of the other reasons why I might still run the Glock 34 for 3-gun, This is a lighter, even with all the heavy stuff in it, it's still quite a bit lighter than the Shadow 2. And I've seen, or at our club, we've had 4 Shadow 2s jump out of their holster.
Out of the holsters,
this year. And no one's had their Glock jump out of the holster this year because they're a lot lighter. So, I mean, keep in mind, you can fix this just by tightening down your holster.
Yeah.
But when you have 3 pounds of metal riding on your hip and you're running around, it's gonna, maybe pop out of your holster. So that is a risk in 3-gun. And it will disqualify you. In IPSC, it's not a risk because usually you have it in the holster, and then on the buzzer, you're basically pulling it out and running around with it in your hands. So not much of a risk there, but worth thinking about. So I guess for 3-gun, I wanted something that had a lot of aftermarket and was still simple. There's no safeties on this thing, and was reliable. And the Glocks have that. One thing that the Glock has that's quite a bit better than the FNS is the trigger pack is so much simpler. Yeah, taking apart the FNS, you take apart this trigger pack in the back here, and it is so complicated and a lot more so than the Glock. Whereas you push 2 pins out of this guy, pop it out, and you're in business, kind of a thing. The Shadow, I don't really want to take apart this thing either because it's pretty complicated in there as well.
Yeah, that's your check space magic.
Yeah, check space magic in there. And whereas the Glock is quite a bit simpler there. So I mean that's why I've got one. I ran an M&P before. I would consider the M&P very similar, but still not having the aftermarket support that the Glock has. Like trying to find a magwell for the M&P may be difficult. Trying to find one for a Glock, super easy. Even with all the generations out there, there's just so many of them out there. Now, up until recently, I would say the Glocks were overpriced here in Canada. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were running like what, $700, $800, $900 kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Due to snowflakiness, this thing is $1,100 in some stores.
Oh. Yeah.
But then again, as a segue, they only made these a little bit at a time. These were what you call a limited production. They ran them a couple of times a year, maybe a couple of times every couple of years. And you would only see them whenever Glock felt like it. It seemed that there was no rhyme or reason to when they made them. It's just maybe the tooling was being used for something else at that point, and then the tooling wasn't being used, so they might as well crank out a couple of these. And the first year production for the 17Ls was 1988. I read in Wikipedia. The Gen 2s don't have finger roofs. The Gen 3s do. And they used to be actually compensated. The very first generation of 17Ls had ported barrels. But the later generations just have the big slide cut on them.
Yeah. Well, the 34s have a slide cut too. It's just not as pronounced as the 17. They need like the same weight on the slide, so it reciprocates even with 9mm on a regular versus a 34 versus your 17 as well, right?
Yep.
So you got to keep the weight kind of similar.
Yeah.
You don't want a big chunk of metal like rotating on the top, right?
That's right. And if you think about it, a slide that long, man, that's a lot of mass moving back and forth, regardless of whether or not the springs are there or the power charge in the case is enough to move it. If you do move it, that's a lot of metal moving back and forth, and if it's not got a lot of weight on the underside, then you get a lot of flippiness, which was my main concern.
No. It's called flipperosity.
Flipperosity. My apologies.
Yeah, it's actually, I was listening to a guy talking about the Shadow 2. That's also one of the reasons why they made the changes with the 2. The slide itself is very light, and the frame itself is very heavy. So they put a ton of weight into the front of the slide here, into the frame, and the slide itself is just a tiny little reciprocating little guy here, whereas the frame is big and heavy, and yeah.
You know, I thought the slide on the Shadow was already small, but just by looking at yours, I think it is smaller in the two. Like, because
well, they went with
Adriel, I'm looking at the basically where the rail is to where the curvature starts, and yours looks smaller than this one.
Yeah,
it's less blocky. Oh, it's less blocky. Yours has a curvature all the way around. Yeah. Mine follows the straight line contour of the frame up, then begins to curve.
Yeah, these go with kind of like an angled to the top there, so that there is less weight on the slide and more weight in the that's lower down in the gun. Because their goal here, the other thing they did was that they pulled this grip in higher, and they pulled the trigger in higher, so you can get a higher grip on it. The idea here is they want to move as much as possible. You want to be moving the barrel down into your hand, so that it's basically recoiling straight into your arm, and not high up where it's going to be encountering that flipperosity.
I've seen that grip on a couple of shows. Never mind.
I think you're looking for this one.
Yeah. No, I was talking about.
I love tactical teacupping. Every time I see it in a movie, I go, "Oh yeah, teacup that. Put that bad boy on that little platter." Boop.
Quantico is really bad for it. If you ever watch that, just
we're talking about shadows. Are we done with the Glocks?
We were talking about Glocks, but all of a sudden everybody gets their shadows out.
Oh, so one of the other great things about Glock is that Magpul makes mags for them, and they're super cheap. Here in Canada, we get hosed on magazines. Our magazines are like $50 to start. FNS, how about $75, sir, for that magazine? And H&K,
well, that's high class.
I got another package. I bought cheap CZ75 mags made in Europe for $25 a pop from Corwin Arms.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of the magazines you get, though, the factory magazines are quite expensive. Glock PMags in the States are super cheap. Here, you're still paying around $25 a pop, but that's still better. Like the factory Glock mags are right around 50 if you can find them, kind of a thing. So, very inexpensive, very standard. The nice thing about the Glock is that if you get a pistol caliber carbine, it has a good chance that it'll run Glock mags.
Glock mags.
Yeah. So if you have a Glock pistol, and then you end up getting a Glock a pistol caliber carbine, there's a good chance that it's going to be sharing mags with it. So awesome from there. I wonder if Dave got a package. Huh, weird. Let's see. Anything else we want to talk about Glocks? I mean, they're a plastic striker fired, super reliable pistol.
You can pretty much do anything to them; they'll still work.
Yeah. Very reliable. Very reliable.
Bash them. You can bedazzle them if you want. Adriel?
You should. Yeah. Not if you want. You should. That grip is so nice on there. It does chew up your hands. What was I shooting the other day that I chewed up my hands? It might have been the open house. So Skills and Drills, I ran my glitter Glock, and then the open house, I ran my glitter Glock to like show people like how to shoot and that kind of thing. And it really wore like everywhere my hand touched. So like right here on my right hand, very worn away. Right here on my left hand, where it kissed up against the grip, also worn away. They all both turned white from shredding my hands. Love it so much.
You're gonna have calluses there.
Exposed power.
To get a callus, I think you have to it has to have a chance to grow back, whereas this just like peels away the
skin, fresh skin.
Peels it away very quickly. The nice thing is, like, if your nails, like if you have like a hangnail or something like that, you just give it a swipe across there, and it's coming off. This is not like a nice nail file. This is like very coarse sandpaper. Like
you can contact Glock and get them to include that grip, and then they can advertise that their pistol is also an excellent nail file.
Yeah.
Do different colors other than the gray, because that's gray glitter, right?
Yeah, this is like the black and white, the black glitter. I've got some green. I got some green stuff that I've tried.
Mauve.
pink. Yep. Oh, it's so grippy. Anything else we want to talk about on Glocks?
Nope.
Nah. There's some history, but that's what
Yeah.
Wikipedia is for.
And I did look it up. It was because of the fact that it was the 17th design.
It was the 17th. Hey.
Yep.
Cool. All right.
Right.
Listener feedback, YouTube. I've been kind of going along here as we've been going. Greg was mentioning that his Chris runs Gen 2 Glock mags. So yeah, lots of options on Glock mags out there. Richard Bone says hello there.
Hey.
Let's see here. And Ken Kowalski was mentioning that Glockzilla has a full slide that's 12 inches with the comp. He got one, I think. Ken, did you make yours out of Roland? Was it a Roland 460 Roland? 460?
I don't know. So let us know.
Yeah.
It truly was a Glockzilla, though.
Indeed, Glockzilla. Let's see here. Sorry, Kelly, did you have something to say there?
No, just wanted to actually mention as well. Greg reminded us that there's a whole bunch of people involved in the CRPS, so not just Rick. So, although Rick's a huge part of it, so just wanted to say.
Okay. Yep. Cool.
Yep.
Let's add on to listener feedback. Listener feedback is sponsored by Highland Tactical. Go to Highlander. Is it Highland Tactical or Highlander Tactical?
It's Highlander Tactical, and so I don't know why somebody wrote in
Highlander
there.
Tactical.
It is Highlander.
Go to highlandertactical.com to check out their great supply of both outside and inside the waistband holsters today. Use the promo code SLAMFIRE at checkout to save 10% on your order.
Yep.
Kelly, did you want to take this first one from Justin?
Okay, so it says, hello, Slamfire. I keep tuning in each week and stay up to date with everyone on the show. He says, I've finally chipped in on the Patreon to help support the show. It's only $1 right now, but it could increase in the future. I hope so, because, well, anyways. I've had a chance to watch Sheer Lipstick on a Pig, their Norenko NP 29 build Patreon edition. Again, very informative for those wondering what to do with the Chinesium steel. Looking forward to more episodes and weekly shows. I do admit to having Brian on. That doesn't make sense, but okay. I do admit to having Brian on the show in a pinch hit for Matt is a welcome addition. Here is hoping to having him on permanently in the near future. Again, depending on Matt's return. Cheers, Justin.
Hopefully Brian's not listening.
He is. You know he is. He listens.
All right. Fine. I guess he gets to hear the listener kudos.
Yeah, he is a good addition. I like Brian on the show.
And Ken was just confirming, yes, that his Glockzilla project was in 460 Roland. Spicy.
Ken, send us a picture.
I like spicy stuff.
Yeah. All right. If you'd like to email the show, send your email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. We have an iTunes review. The author is Coronis. It's from Canada. It's 5 stars. Title, Amazing Podcast. Review, very helpful and entertaining podcast. This show helps new and experienced shooters alike. Oh, he must have been listening to the wrong podcast.
I know. Weird. I was thinking
that. Shout outs. Do you guys have any shout outs?
Why doesn't Dave go first? Dave, do you got one?
I got 2 actually. The Fishing Day and Discovery Day are happening at the Victoria Fishing Game Protective Association range on June 16 and 17 is the next weekend. Yeah, June 16 and 17th. On the 16th, you can go and experience the joys and laughter that fishing brings and your dad swearing. And you also get to experience on the 17th your any and all firearms that are available to be shot during the Discovery Day. I think it's ammo cost only. You don't pay for rentals. You don't pay for entrance. Anybody's welcome. It's for Father's Day. It's hosted every year at the Victoria Fishing Game. Go check it out. I would be volunteering there, but I got to work. It's unfortunate, but I got to feed the cats somehow. And other than that, check out Canada Guns over in Reddit. It's a subreddit full of people like-minded. And we have an extremely low quality threshold for posts. So if you think it's funny, somebody else is going to find it funny too. Or I'll just, remove your content if it's truly and completely
Ludicrous.
Yes, I'm a moderator there, but I'm the newest moderator and people already hate me. And so I think I'm doing a good enough job.
So that means you're doing a great job.
Yeah. Check out Canada Guns. Check out the Victoria Fishing Game, Discovery Day, Fishing Day, June 16 and 17. Boom!
There you go. Kelly?
I do have a shout out. Okay, so Rick Kittebeck, I just wanted to say thank you. You're amazing, as everybody knows. But also, Rick gave me a couple of magazines for my shadow, so it was really nice of him.
Oh, you got free mags?
I get free mags. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyways.
That's better than a Subway sub.
It is, isn't it? I also wanted to say thank you to all the sponsors who are stepping up to support the charity shoot as well this year. So thank you guys. That's awesome. What about you, Adriel?
Oh, I should, but I've been running ragged here, so I can't think of anything. I'd like to thank everyone who's helping out with all the things.
That's nice. It's very inclusive. Very nice.
Yeah. All right. Patreon supporters. We have 93 Patreon supporters. Our newest one is Justin W.
Yep.
Patreon supporters, make sure that you email us your address, and once a month we'll do a Patreon. And coming soon, t-shirts. Maybe next week. Maybe if they get through customs and get over to my place, which it looks like they're done customs, so they should be arriving. You know what I bet? I bet they show up and there's a huge duty on those things.
You know
I bet you that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100 t-shirts coming through. They're probably like, we're going to hit you up with all sorts of duties on there. T-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So Patreonies, there may be a t-shirt in the mail for you soon enough. I need to figure out how to mail those, but I'll figure it out.
In the mail?
Yes, they'll be in the mail or in person. Some of our actually a lot of our patrons are members of my gun club. So if you're a patron over there and I see that you're in Edmonton, I'll try to just get it to you by hand because that's cheaper and faster. Yep. If you want to become a patron of the show, head over to patreon.com/slamfireradio or go to slamfireradio.com, and we got a button on there somewhere that says Patreon, so you can sign up there. Finally, please join one or more of our national firearms associations, such as the CCFR or the CSSA. Check us out on Gun Owners of Canada. Like us on Facebook. There's a bunch of crazy conversation that's happening over there. We're at, I think there's an extra 0 there. I think we're at 1,903 likes. 19,000 would be awesome too, but I don't think we're there just yet.
No.
And I think that's about it.
One last thing though.
Yeah, Dave's got something to say.
Yeah,
Can't forget.
One last thing.
Everybody's got to know this exists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You monster.
Dave, do you want to describe your monster for those that are listening?
What we have here is, you're gonna hate me for this, an 870 Wingmaster. What I did to it is appalling. I found a true Remington 14-inch barrel, and I thought, hey, I should build something really dumb. So I went out and I found the roughest condition 870 Wingmaster receiver I could find, and thankfully the bluing was gone, literally gone, bare metal on the side of the receiver. So I said, that's prime for a new paint job. And I decided to get what is, in my opinion, the best stock for an 870 out there. This is a Mesa Tactical stock. It just works the best out of everything that I've tried. All that I've tried has been Choate, their plastic ones, which are garbage. I've tried folding stocks. They're garbage. I've tried Magpul stocks. They're okay. I've tried the Hogue, length of pull, reduced stock. It's too short. Unless you're wearing a plate carrier, you're not going to be able to shoulder that properly. And then I tried this guy, and oh my God, this is so good. My only complaint is that for some stupid reason, the back of the grip is flat. There is no curvature to it. So when you shoot anything with a half a decent recoil, which is, you know, half of the things you shoot out of a shotgun, it beats the heck out of your hand. But I still like it. It's perfect. It literally brings your head in line with whatever it is happening above and past the slide. It shoulders beautifully. It has a nice, super squishy recoil pad to soak up all that recoil. And another thing that I did is, since I shoot this lefty due to some really, really stupid things with my eyes, I found a lefty conversion safety. So this is not a lefty 870. This is still a right-handed 870, but the safety is reversed. I didn't know they made it. I saw it on CGN and I bought it, and it works. And the other two things that are on this are a Hogue foregrip, which is the best foregrip in my opinion, because it's super grippy and it's nice and big. And it's got a +1 magazine extension for that flush look. And then I decided to give it a Duracoat paint job. And in my experience, the louder the better. So what we went with my buddy is a giraffe stripe fluorescent pink to fire engine red fade, which I call La Jirafa Marica, which means the gay giraffe in Spanish. And this is my shotgun. It's the shotgun that I will never part with because it's still at the core a Wingmaster. And boy, if it is slick. Oh, baby. This is way better quality than anything Remington has been making since 2007. And I will argue vehemently against anybody saying otherwise.
And if you put it on the rack at the range, there's no question that it's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever going to be something as appalling as this ever made again.
But you love it.
Oh, hell yeah. This is my gun. This is going to get passed down to my children, and there will be questions. Many questions.
Yeah, questions about Grandpa's sanity.
Yeah, let's go with that. Sanity.
Awesome.
If you want to send hate mail my way because I messed up a Wingmaster, it was already messed up. So whatever.
Yeah. There we go. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for watching and enduring with the pink, purple giraffe shotguns and nonsense that we usually.
The gay giraffe.
The gay giraffe. All right. Thanks everyone.